On December 19, 2025, EU leaders in Brussels reached a historic agreement to provide Ukraine with a €90 billion financial lifeline for the years 2026 and 2027. This decision came after months of mounting pressure and urgent appeals from Kyiv, as Ukraine faced growing financial strain amid ongoing conflict. This comprehensive package ensures Ukraine can maintain essential state functions, paying pensions, funding hospitals, and keeping schools open, while allowing the government to focus its own resources on defense and security. It's a crucial step to prevent the collapse of vital public services and to support millions of ordinary Ukrainians during a time of war.
Today we approved a decision to provide €90 billion to Ukraine, marking one of the largest aid packages in EU history. As a matter of urgency, we will provide a loan backed by the European Union budget, ensuring swift and reliable delivery of funds.
The agreement followed intense, often late-night negotiations, reflecting the EU's ability to overcome internal divisions and act decisively in a crisis. Leaders had to balance the concerns of member states while keeping the bloc united. The loan structure was a carefully crafted compromise, securing unanimous approval while deferring more contentious issues for future debate. This approach allowed the EU to move forward without delay. The timing was critical, as concerns mounted over Ukraine's war effort and the risk of waning international support. The world was watching to see if Europe would step up. By committing to a 2-year funding plan, the EU gives Ukraine stability for long-term planning, helping the country weather uncertainty and strategize for the future.
This is good news for Ukraine and bad news for Russia, and this was our intention. We want to make it clear that aggression will not be rewarded.
The message is clear. Europe stands with Ukraine for the long haul, demonstrating unity and determination in the face of adversity. The EU is ready to provide the support necessary for Ukraine's survival, both now and in the years ahead. The decision is a major diplomatic achievement, preserving the bloc's credibility on the world stage and reinforcing its commitment to shared values. The EU's move sends a powerful signal of solidarity and resolve, showing the world that Europe will not abandon Ukraine in its hour of need. By late 2025, analysts warned that without immediate aid, Ukraine's finances would collapse by mid-2026. The country's reserves were dwindling, and the government was struggling to cover even the most basic expenses. International observers noted that the economic strain was becoming as dangerous as the military threat itself. A government unable to pay its soldiers and civil servants would face internal instability, undermining its ability to resist Russia. Morale would plummet, and the risk of unrest or even desertion would rise, threatening the very fabric of Ukrainian society. The war is fought on two fronts, the battlefield and the economic ledger. Every bullet and every paycheck is part of the same struggle for survival.
Ukraine has been forced into a position where it must rely on its allies to keep the basic functions of the state running. Without outside help, schools, hospitals, and public services would grind to a halt, leaving millions vulnerable. The €90 billion loan fills a massive budget gap, ensuring public services continue. It keeps hospitals open, buses running, and repairs ongoing, even as war rages on, and freeing Ukraine's military to focus on defense. With financial worries eased, commanders can concentrate on strategy and protection.
European leaders feared that any delay could prove fatal, risking a collapse of the Ukrainian front line and dire security implications for Europe. The stakes were not just Ukrainian, they were continental. The speed of the decision was as important as the amount itself. Every day counted, and hesitation could have meant disaster. External pressures, including criticism from former US President Trump, added urgency to the EU's response. The world was watching, and the EU's credibility was on the line.
The agreement became a vehicle for asserting European strength and autonomy, showing the world that Europe is prepared to shoulder responsibility for its own security. It was a message of unity and resolve.
The EU's swift action was a direct answer to doubts about its unity and resolve. It demonstrated that, when tested, Europe could act decisively. The loan is not just financial support, it's a statement of European leadership. It signals a new era of responsibility and partnership.
Europe is proving it can act as a cohesive and powerful geopolitical actor. This moment could redefine its role on the world stage.
The €90 billion agreement is a turning point for both Ukraine and the EU, marking a bold step toward a more secure and united Europe. One of the most debated aspects was how to finance the support package. The initial proposal was to use the frozen Russian state assets, about 210 billion euros. But this was fraught with legal and financial risks.
Faced with these obstacles, the EU leaders opted for a more conventional alternative, borrowing 90 billion euros on the capital markets, backed by the EU budget.
This approach allowed the EU to deliver funds quickly, avoiding a divisive legal battle over Russian assets. The reparations loan idea was set aside, but not abandoned. The European Commission will continue exploring legal pathways to use Russian assets in the future.
The assets remain frozen until Moscow agrees to pay war reparations. If Russia pays, those funds could help Ukraine repay the EU loan.
The EU loan is a bridge to a more permanent, justice-oriented solution. Belgium played a pivotal role in the negotiations, as most of Russia's frozen assets in the EU are held in Brussels. The Belgian government, led by Prime Minister Bart De Wever, was deeply concerned about the legal and financial risks of seizing these assets.
Given these substantial risks, Belgium became the leading voice advocating for caution and a more pragmatic approach. De Wever insisted on guarantees to shield Belgium from repercussions, which other member states hesitated to provide. His opposition steered the EU toward the loan-backed solution. There were so many questions on the reparations loan, we had to go to Plan B. Rationality has prevailed.
Belgium's stance was not opposition to helping Ukraine, but concern over the method. By forcing the EU to confront practical difficulties, Belgium helped forge consensus.
By choosing the loan, the EU has avoided chaos and division and remained united.
Belgium's role highlights the complex interplay of finance, law, and geopolitics in these negotiations. The €90 billion loan announcement was met with statements from European leaders, each highlighting a different aspect of the deal.
Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Costa emphasized the urgency and unity behind the decision. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz called it a strategic victory for the EU and a direct blow to the Kremlin.
Belgian Prime Minister Bart De Wever explained the shift away from using Russian assets, saying, "There were so many questions on the reparations loan, we had to go to Plan B. Rationality has prevailed."
The EU has avoided chaos and division and remained united. Kaja Kallas, the EU's foreign policy chief, summed up the stakes. "We just can't afford to fail."
The final agreement reflects urgency, strategic messaging, and pragmatic caution. It's a testament to the EU's ability to synthesize competing priorities into decisive action. The deal is a powerful act of collective will. Hungary, led by Viktor Orban, has often blocked EU aid to Ukraine, making its approval a major hurdle.
Many feared Budapest would obstruct the process, but Hungary ultimately allowed the scheme to proceed on one condition. Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic negotiated that they would not be financially liable if Ukraine defaulted.
This concession let Orban claim a win at home while allowing the aid to move forward.
The compromise was a masterclass in EU diplomacy, sidestepping a political roadblock without sacrificing the core objective.
By insulating Hungary and its allies, the EU secured the unanimity needed for the decision.
The arrangement showed the EU's flexibility in accommodating member states to maintain unity.
The calculated compromise was a small price to pay to unlock massive aid for Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was a constant moral voice during the negotiations.
Zelensky urged the EU to seize the €210 billion in frozen Russian assets to fund Ukraine's defense and reconstruction. He called this one of the clearest and most morally justified decisions possible.
For Zelensky, using Russian assets was about justice and accountability, not just money.
Making Russia pay would send a message that aggression has unbearable financial costs.
While the EU chose a loan, Zelensky's advocacy kept the idea of using Russian assets central to the debate. The final agreement keeps the assets frozen and tasks the Commission with exploring future options.
Ukraine's quest to make Russia pay for its war is far from over.
With the €90 billion loan secured, Ukraine has a financial cushion for 2 years, but the fate of the frozen Russian assets remains unresolved.
The European Commission now has a mandate to explore legal ways to use these assets for Ukraine's benefit. Legal experts must navigate international law and banking regulations to find a robust solution. Any plan will require unanimous support from all 27 member states.
The assets will stay frozen until Russia agrees to pay reparations, linking their fate to a post-war settlement.
If Russia pays, Ukraine could use those funds to repay the EU loan.
The loan acts as bridge financing, holding a place for a future, justice-oriented solution.
The future of these assets will define the EU's relationship with Russia for years to come.
The EU has preserved a powerful tool for future negotiations. The EU's €90 billion loan to Ukraine is more than a financial transaction. It's a powerful gesture that resonates far beyond the numbers. It's a symbol of enduring support, a clear message that Ukraine is not alone in its struggle.
This commitment gives Ukraine financial predictability, allowing its government to plan for the future even in the midst of uncertainty. It reassures its people and armed forces, boosting morale and strengthening the nation's resolve to persevere.
For the EU, the agreement is a powerful assertion of its role as a major geopolitical actor. By overcoming internal divisions and uniting behind Ukraine, the EU proved it can act decisively and independently, even when faced with complex challenges. The deal strengthens the EU's credibility on the world stage and signals its political will to shape events on its continent and beyond.
For Russia, the message is clear. Europe's resolve has not wavered, and its unity is stronger than anticipated.
The EU is prepared for a long conflict, ready to adapt its strategies and maintain support for as long as necessary. It is willing to commit vast resources to prevent a Russian victory, both on the battlefield and in the economic arena.
The continued freeze of Russian assets is a constant reminder of the consequences of aggression, serving as a warning to others.
The EU's bold move sets a precedent for how democratic alliances can respond to acts of aggression, showing unity and resolve.
It's a defining moment for Ukraine, a testament to its resilience and the international support it has garnered. It marks a maturing moment for the EU as it steps confidently into a more assertive global role. And it represents a strategic setback for Russia, highlighting the costs of its actions and the strength of European unity.